10 signs that a man is falling out of love with you. In this video, you will discover the warning signs that your man is no longer interested in you and potentially also learn what you can do about it so you can feel cherished, supported, and taken care of. Hi, I'm Antia Boyd with Magnetize Your Man, and together with my husband, Brody Boyd, we've been helping successful women all over the world for the last 20 years combined to attract the right relationship into their life fast. So let's go ahead and dive right in. The first sign that a man is falling out of love with you is passive aggressiveness. So he no longer communicates with you clearly and directly because he truly cares, but now he's going to do it in sort of like a snappy way, or he does something that you wanted him to do, and then you get to see like, wait, why didn't you do that? Well, why didn't you do that? And what the hope of this man is that potentially an argument or a fight starts, and then he gets to justify even more why he can distance himself from you. The next sign a man is falling out of love with you is that he's being condescending. Like he's no longer treating you like an equal. He's no longer respecting you and cherishing you. However, what he does instead is he's kind of looking down on you. And I think part of the reasons why he does that is because in a way he's potentially also, looking down on himself because he has this past conflict inside of himself where, maybe you're a good person, but he's no longer attracted to you. And so now he gets upset at himself. And so how he expresses that is by being condescending towards you. And then, of course, if you respect yourself, of course, the hope then again is, right, that you are actually, moving towards a breakup or towards getting some distance or potentially like even, finding a new relationship for yourself. And I know this is dysfunctional, but this is what men can do. The next sign that a man is falling out of love with you is controlling you for his benefits. Like he no longer takes into consideration what you truly want, what your desires really are. However, he's actually putting himself first. In short, my way or the highway is his new motto, because after all, he doesn't want your approval anymore. He doesn't care anymore if there's harmony between the two of you. And unfortunately also, he doesn't really care anymore if he makes you happy. The next sign that a man is falling out of love with you is him stonewalling you. Now, this may particularly happen, and I've heard this from a lot of my clients, is when you make a request, when you express an emotion, when you set a boundary, right? When you express something that you would like him to do, instead of him actually working with you on that, leaning into it, asking you more questions about it, he would just stonewall you. He would just shut down, and you would wonder what happened? Like, did I do something wrong? And you start walking on eggshells, and then of course makes the situation even worse. The next sign that a man is falling out of love with you is he's pleasing you out of guilt. Now, this could be the case if there's also infidelity in the game, because he feels like, oh, I need to make up for my conscience. I need to make sure that, I still treat her like a good person because I just did something bad. I just cheated on her, or I just flirted with another woman, or I'm just like not sharing myself with her the way I used to. In short, I'm out of integrity. You see, I've heard the story many times that men then out of the sudden, that give you the extra massage or bring you home an extra nice gift. And you wonder, wait, what is happening? So it's worth to explore if there's something else going on. The next sign a man is falling out of love with you is extreme emotional swings. And here's the reason why. Because think about it, a swing is like a pendulum. And so if he has a past conflict inside of himself, that means part of him wants to get obviously out of the relationship. So he may swing in the direction of like pleasing or wanting you to be happy or just being nice to you. But then he swings to the opposite direction where he's out of the sudden becoming like really angry, for example, or potentially really sad. And this was actually true for me when I dated this one guy. This was like eons ago. And he became like really sad. And I'm like, what's going on? And then he stonewalled me in combination with that. And it was because he had this conflict inside of himself, but yet he couldn't get to the point to actually break up. And the reason why is because he was really bad with conflict. After all, he didn't want to be the bad guy, so he wanted to make me the bad girl who then actually breaks up with him. The next sign a man is falling out of love with you is he doesn't ask you any questions anymore. He doesn't ask you how your day was. He doesn't ask you how work went, maybe how the kids are, maybe, but depending on if you're married or not. But really, like, he's not that invested into you. He has already disconnected, retracted back into side of himself. And because of that, he asked himself a lot of questions. Like, how can he approach us the best way possible? He's in his head, but he's no longer interested to enter your world. Because remember, when he enters your world, it's because he wants to learn how to make you happy. You see, when he falls out of love with you, he's no longer interested in that. The next sign a guy is falling out of love with you is he's no longer going out of his way. Like, think about it. Did he surprise you at some point? Did he drive over from another town? Did he go the extra mile? Did he surprise himself in a way that you would have never thought? And then out of the sudden, you have to do it all yourself. And you find yourself no longer getting the support, and you find yourself no longer getting the invitations to a nice concert, or you no longer find that he's actually putting some thought into your dates, if he even still goes on dates with you. And that is, of course, because he's no longer investing his own energy, that's of course very valuable, into making you happy. And again, the reason why is because he no longer is that invested into you anymore. That means he no longer gets that emotional magnification, his own inner happiness, out of the relationship. The next sign that a man is falling out of love with you is he's no longer treating you like a queen. Did he even mention to you in the past that you always were his queen, or that you were this never expected, always wanted miracle? But now he's like maybe treating you like a warrioress. Maybe he's like talking to you what tasks need to be done, or what needs to be done for the kids. That would be, of course, if you're married, or so and so on. But he no longer sort of honors you and respects you. And he no longer puts an effort into you feeling like a queen, because that would also mean that he's actually stepping into his king. Because you see, in this moment, he's coming from a totally different archetype, which could be, for example, the collapsed inner boy, because he doesn't really know how to end the relationship. The last sign that a man is falling out of love with you is criticism rather than appreciation. And that is, of course, because he's criticizing himself and also you inside of himself, because now that he's falling out of love with you, now he sees, all the attributes inside of yourself that are maybe not so nice, or maybe that he's judgments about. But before, because he was also in love with you, it was balanced with all the attributes that he loved inside of you. However, now everything is annoying to him, because he's annoyed that he's still in this relationship. He's annoyed with this past conflict we talked about before, and now he starts to criticize you more and more, because unconsciously he wants to push you away. To sum things up, when a man is falling out of love with you, he's simply pulling back. And this shows up in many ways that you can pick up on with what I shared. And that will, of course, help you to continue to invest into yourself, respect yourself, and, of course, avoid bitter disappointment and even shock later on. Next, if you haven't yet, take our free love quiz and our virtual coaching session in order to get the loving long-term relationship that you desire without frustration, loneliness, or wasting any more time with emotionally unavailable men by simply hopping over to getlovequiz.com or simply click that link below in the comment section or in the description. I hope this was helpful. I'll talk to you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.